Class registration is coming up soon, so if you want to make sure that you're enrolled in some of the best classes at Northwestern, you clicked on the right video. All right, guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Alexia and welcome. So my channel mostly covers food, fitness, and fun, but I do go to Northwestern University, so I do have a lot of university content as well. I'm currently a third-year student in Medill, but thanks to my degree and some of the credits that I came in with in high school, this is my last quarter here. So given that I've taken so many classes already, I wanted to quickly make this video to shout out 10 of my favorite classes that I've taken here at Northwestern. 5 of them are just general classes that anyone could take, and the second half of the video, the second 5, are going to be Medill specific classes. So without further ado, let's jump right on in. All right, class number 1 is going to be History 200-0, History of the Present. This was a class that I actually took in my freshman year when I needed one of those like history distros to fill my requirement. It was a super interesting class because it focused on current events, but then tied it to historical related events. So the class, I would assume it changes every quarter based on what's going on in the world and what else they could relate it to. But it was a lecture that met twice a week and a once a week discussion. And the lectures were, I wouldn't say that they were optional, but it was totally fine. If you missed like 1 or 2, you could definitely catch up. And the discussion sections were really helpful to go over some of the readings and any of the material. So I did well in this class. I would say it was relatively easy for a history distro, given that I don't even like history. So I would definitely recommend. All right, next up, this one was probably my favorite class that I've ever taken at Northwestern. Entrepreneurship 225-0, Principles of Entrepreneurship. I took this also my freshman year with Patricia Thomas as the professor. It is such a creative class. You do get to work on anything that you're really super interested in and passionate about. This class forced me to step outside of my comfort zone. I definitely got a lot better at public speaking, coming up with my own ideas, pitching my own ideas. And I feel like she fostered such a community vibe to the classroom that I really got to know my classmates super well, which was awesome. And another class I would say relatively easy A. It is a lot of work, but the work is meaningful and you're actually going to learn from doing it, and you'll probably get an A at the end. So definitely super strongly recommend Entrepreneurship 225. Next up, Art 220-0, Intro to Painting. I have like never oil painted before in my life, but I figured I would sign up for this class just for fun because I wanted to do something a little bit different. It only met twice a week, but it was 3 hours long. But if you're gonna be working on like an artistic piece, it kind of makes sense to have longer chunks of time to work on it. I would say what I really liked about this class was it was so creative. You could kind of paint whatever it is that you wanted to paint, whatever you were interested in. There was one class field trip to the Chicago Art Institute, which I really enjoyed with the professor. So he would like explain some of the artworks to you, and it started to be really therapeutic. I would show up to class, just pop in my AirPods, listen to a podcast, and just paint for 3 hours twice a week. So definitely recommend. The class is pretty much an easy A as well. As long as you actually show up all the time and you're submitting your paintings on time and you are putting effort into your work, you're gonna get an A. So definitely recommend. Great therapeutic class to, just relax, be creative. And the teacher, I took it with, I don't remember his last name, but his first name was Zach, and he was fantastic. He was so funny, but great guy. Next up, another one of my top best classes here at Northwestern, Design 208-0, Design Thinking and Doing is the name of the class. This class may be confused with DTC, which is what all the engineers have to take, but it's kind of the easier non-engineers version, Design Thinking and Doing. What I really enjoyed about this class, once again, on that topic of creativity, right? You are working on a project with a group, but you guys get to pick what it is that you're developing as the class goes on. So I remember my group, we had to create some sort of solution in the world of transportation. So we ended up designing like a rainproof cover for a bicycle, but we could have done anything. We could have done planes, cars, anything like that. So I really enjoyed that creativity. The homework for the class was do something creative and fun. So I remember like folding origami or learning how to tinsel hair and things like that for the homework. So another relatively easy A class. Obviously show up to class, do the work, but you get in what you put out. So definitely worthwhile as well. All right, my last normal distro class, I'm actually in this class right now in winter quarter 2024. It's Entrepreneurship 395-0, Storytelling for Business with Jen. She is so funny. She's so understanding, interesting to talk to, invites you into the conversation type professor. The class focuses on storytelling development. So whether that is using it for business pitches, pitching a new product, using it for interviews, telling your story, using it for networking, things like that. And also just how to become a better public speaker and share things about you with others, and harnessing vulnerability to actually work in your advantage. So definitely recommend this class. not that much homework, which is really awesome. And all the homework is very flexible, right? It's kind of telling your own story, writing a journal, like reading a couple relevant readings to the class. So once again, relatively easy. I haven't finished the class yet, so I can't say if it's an easy A, but I would have to assume that it's a relatively easy A, and it's worthwhile because you learn a lot. So definitely recommend this one. So that is it for my general classes outside of Medill. So if you are not in Medill, I would recommend you stop watching this video now unless you're interested in maybe becoming a journalism major, because the next 5 classes I'm going to cover are all Medill journalism classes. All right, first up, I got JUR 312, video production and broadcast. So me, myself, I'm a video and broadcast major here for journalism is like the specification that I'm focusing on. This class was like Northwestern News Network, but in a class. Every day we would show up, someone would produce the newscast, 2 people would anchor, 2 people would report, and we would get a group going. And every single class was hands-on, hands-on, hands-on. I really, really, really enjoyed this class. I am involved in Northwestern News Network outside of the classroom, but it was really nice to have some dedicated class time and homework time to harness my anchoring skills and my production skills a little bit more. And it was great to work as a team in the studio and produce these live broadcasts. So really recommend this one. Just show up, work hard, easy A. Another class I took in the same exact quarter as this one was JUR 323, social media video. I took this one with Craig Duff. Craig knows so much about Premiere Pro. So it was really helpful to take one class where he could teach me so many different video editing techniques, whether it was special effects or how to put text on the screen and get things moving around, how to cut vertical videos, how to make things optimized for Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, things like that. So obviously, if we're being realistic, the way journalism is going, it's going to be a little bit more social heavy in the future. So I would really recommend this class in terms of all the skills that you're going to use are going to be super relevant in the future, as well as it's pretty easy. You get to focus on topics that you're interested in, and Craig is a super helpful professor that will kind of guide you and give you any help if you need it. And once again, show up, work hard, easy A. Next up would be JUR 311. This was editing and producing magazine. So I am not a magazine journalist, but I was definitely interested in taking a class to kind of figure it out and see if it was an area that I was interested in. I enjoyed this class because the homework was mainly just reading magazines and familiarizing yourself with the magazine. The way it worked was at the start of the quarter, you and a couple other kids would choose one magazine that you wanted to focus on. So my group chose GQ magazine, which is one of the leading magazines in the men's health and wellness space. So it was cool to kind of really dissect the magazine, its editorial operations, take a look at past issues, what their international coverage looks like, and what we ended up doing was suggesting our own special edition issue of this magazine. So kind of showcasing how much we learned about magazine and then producing our own kind of next step to that magazine. And we had the opportunity to connect with people on the GQ team that actually work for the company. And some of them were Northwestern graduates. So it was nice to kind of have a little alumni connection going on there and just learn from people already in the industry. Once again, show up, work hard, easy A. All right, this next one is probably my favorite class I've ever taken in Medill. JUR 305, Journeys to Barcelona Travel Journalism. So these classes are a little bit different because they do actually include one part where you take off and literally travel. Medill offers a couple of these classes. I know they have one to Israel, Japan, London, South Africa, Colombia, and a couple like more local travelized ones. I know there's a lot, so definitely ask your academic advisor, learn a little bit more, look at the website. But I took the Journeys travel class to Barcelona in summer of 2023, and it was phenomenal. Things I like the most about it, the class was actually only like 3.5 weeks long. It was 2 weeks virtual instruction in the summer in like late August, early September, and it was a 1 week on the ground trip to Barcelona. And then you came back and it was 2 additional days of like final presentations and instruction here on campus. So really, really enjoyed this class, because the travel is insane. What a great opportunity to go to a different part of the world, maybe that you've never been to before. You have a structured program that you're with. So you're with other kids from your university. You have some field trips going on, some tours assembled for you. I really enjoyed that. And I enjoyed the opportunity to report in a couple different languages. We were paired with student translators from Barcelona. So the student that we were paired to, her name is Nora. She spoke English, Spanish, and Catalan. So it was awesome to get to do some local travel journalism and not have a language barrier, because we spoke English, maybe a little bit of Spanish, and it was great to have that translator with us. So once again, we got to kind of focus on whatever sort of topic we were interested in once we were there. So I love arts and entertainment coverage, so I chose to cover food in Barcelona. So had a great time with my teammates making an interactive website for our final project. So 10 out of 10, really recommend this class. It was really short. It was only 3 weeks, and it happens over the summer before the quarter starts, but it still counts for a fall quarter class. So I actually only took 3 classes in the fall because that journeys class was my 4th class. So 10 out of 10, it's so worth it. You do, side note, you actually have to pay for the trip to Barcelona though. I would say it was around $2,000, but if you have any financial aid, that might help to cover it. So do keep that in mind. But for the actual trip itself and what it was worth, it was 100% a valuable experience that I would recommend to others. My last and final class that I definitely recommend is Juror 320, called Interactive News and Storytelling. This one I took with Professor Jill Blackman. It was a fantastic class because you learn a little bit more about the back ends of journalism. So not necessarily producing a report, but you learn about how to display it and how to show it. So whether that's creating a website, making some movies, creating graphics and info charts to kind of visualize what it is that you're trying to tell. We learned some HTML, some CSS, some jQuery, a lot of like behind the scenes coding stuff to building your own web page and your own website, and some video elements to go along. So definitely, once again, with the way that journalism is moving in the future, I think these skills that you learned in the class are incredibly valuable and an asset to you in the future. So I would recommend taking this class. It takes you pretty slow week by week. So it's not like, bam, build your own website from day one. It's like you learn a little bit here and there, a little bit here and there. And then by the end of the class, you will have enough skills to build your own website and your own webpage to showcase your work. So definitely recommend this one. I would say this one took a little bit more work than some of the other classes, but once again, it is worthwhile work. So it's not busy work, right? Once you learn how to do this, if you are able to retain the skills, you can use it in the job market later. So I'd say it's another one of those show up, work hard, and I'm pretty sure everyone in the class got an A. So relatively easy A class as well. All right, you guys, that is it for my 10 best classes that I've taken at Northwestern recommendations. 5 general classes, 5 Medill classes, 10 in total. So if you are registering for classes, I recommend you check some of these out. I will note not all of these classes run every single quarter, so you might have to kind of keep an eye out across different quarters. Classes do change based on who the professor is, so even if you're taking the same exact class name, it might be taught by someone else, so you might have a different experience. However, I definitely recommend first, read the C-text, but second of all, just give it a try, right? You can always drop if you don't like it. So with that being said, I'm wishing you the best of luck in your next quarter and all the classes that you enroll in. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you can get notified when I post any more videos. Feel free to leave any questions in the comments if you have anything that you want to ask more about, learn more about, or leave me a DM over here at my Instagram at livelikeLex. Have an awesome day. Bye.